we have a good show in store for you guys. It's going to be one that's full of deep thought, critical thinking. And our guest is Jesse Renteria. How you doing, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me. Definitely. Thank
Beautiful.
you very much.
All right. Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. This guy's full of knowledge, and we're about to find all that out right now. So I'd like to introduce you. So Jesse Renteria, self-described normal Christian with a new or a different approach to life from a spiritual and a religious point of view. Not only your approach to life is different, but your perspective on life has been shaped by 4 different religions and spiritual paths. Catholicism, Christianity. Which denomination is a non-denominational or
Christianity? Non-denominational.
And then Judaism. Would it be Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, or
Reform?
Okay, and then Messianic Judaism.
The Messianic is just like in the middle of Christianity and Judaism, and then goes in the middle.
Nice. Okay, and so all 4 seem to have a common thread, because you would say that Catholicism and Christianity are similar, and then Judaism and then the Messianic are similar, but then even all 4 can possibly have a common thread, right, between all 4 of them.
Yes, definitely.
Would you say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you've you experienced enough to say that these 4 different religions shaped your perspective on life and your approach to how you view life and live life. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so a little bit about your story. You mentioned the 4 paths, that it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So, but once you got in, it was refreshing and new and exciting. What would you say wasn't easy? As you went from one to the other. What?
Okay, because I was never, planning to actually, let's say, I was Catholic for my first part of life, about 24, 25 years old.
Okay.
I was born Catholic, and then I was not planning to go into Christianity. Never. In fact, I was always fighting, not fighting, but pushing back something that is not yours. My sister was Christian, and then she always, comes to me and telling me, stuff about Christ, and I always push back, just reacting to it.
Okay.
For my part, just making noise, saying I am the right one. You know what I mean? So yeah, never planning to change religion.
And so that's when you say it's not easy.
It was not easy, and it was not my plan. And then can I tell you the story how?
Sure,
Okay. Then my sister, wanted to go to a Christian church, so I was looking for a church for my sister. So I go to stadiums and a church, and and they're very friendly, they're very welcoming, and they tell you what's your name and this and that. And then I was saying, like, I'm cool, my sister, but then I end up being in there, and then it was actually very cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. From my experience, I went through life and I was kind of sleeping. Yeah. And maybe through that time I went in through periods of depression. I think everybody does go into small periods, because I went to a depression and I know how it feels. And then I know that some people go into it, but it's not like a chronic. That's the reason you go in and get out.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the reason I go into Christianity, and it was like a new life.
Okay.
And so that's the reason it was like refreshing.
Okay. Yeah. Correct.
And then and definitely I believe that something inside of you awakes. And then that's the reason it was like, wow, this is pretty good. Wow.
And then to understand the not easy part, it's just because there was resistance at first because of it was new but then once you were open to it, all of a sudden you were like, okay, I like this. This is interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. When I said it's not easy, not so far that it was difficult. It was never planned. That's what I mean by that.
Okay. But that happened 3 times. Three more times.
Yes. 3 times.
So then the order, what the order would be, Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
and then Christianity, and then Judaism,
Right.
and then Messianic.
Messianic.
That's the current.
Right. Well, yes.
Okay.
If you want to put a title, but
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the way I see life.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then all 4 of them obviously have impacted you and shaped your perspective of life. And
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I think it's a good thing. From now I see in retrospect, like for example, may I say something like
yeah.
about how I went from Christian to like
yes,
Jewish
please.
kind of thing? Okay, my pastor, it was always looking for the word, like the original word. Back in the days, if you go like 20 years ago, maybe 30, you look at the word in the Bible, and then you look at this thick book, strong concordance. Like for example, you look in the beginning, God created heavens and earth. Let's say beginning. You go, and then we'll take you to Bereshit bara, the beginning God created. And it will have a little number, and it will take you to that word and then tell you specific what that means. And that's the reason we always, not in all of them, but some where you have like a doubt, you will go back and it was this path always looking for to a point that we were actually going in that direction without even knowing, the whole church. You know what I mean?
So that basically you're saying it was a deeper dive into the meanings that you were getting from the words, but you just kept going deeper and deeper.
And deeper. With that, in this case, the whole congregation was going in that direction without knowing. You know what I mean? May I proceed on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, like the vocabulary, our pastor said, now the vocabulary is going to change. He didn't say that way, but now since you're finding out like the right number words, now you will not say Jesus no more. His real name is Yeshua. Okay, that was no problem. Okay, now God is translated everywhere as God, but not everywhere is the word of God. Like God, it's Elohim. Like Genesis 1, just to give you an example. And Genesis 2 is not the same word when you go and look into it. Anyway, so it's God, Elohim, and there's Yahweh, like the personal, that's the God of the Hebrews, the ones he took them out of Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now changing the number, and there was a lot of changes, and I didn't want to change. Then I go, okay, I resisted. Why do I want to change? Like, it's the same thing, just changing the words. But now, like, not Sunday, now you celebrate Shabbat, and now like all of these feasts. And I was resisting, but then I say, what am I gonna do? I just learn everything. What the heck? You know what I mean?
That's good.
And I know what it means.
Yeah.
But then another dimension open up from my understanding. If you wanna know Jesus, you have to. This is my opinion, okay? You have to see him through the lens of the Old Testament. I'm saying the Old Testament because in some churches, they once someone gets saved, they give them like a New Testament. I think you should give them like the whole thing, because you want to know Jesus. You definitely go deep knowing his background, and that's the reason all other avenue will open up.
So to kind of recap that a little bit, so there was the difference from Catholicism to Christianity, but then from Christianity to Judaism, it started getting into the definition and the meanings of each word in Hebrew.
Right? In Hebrew, right? Yeah.
And then as you dove deeper into these words, you found yourself you transitioned. You can literally say that you were in Judaism.
Kind of, but let me tell you that there's a twist. you cannot be in Judaism if you have the Messiah, Yeshua. So, you know what I mean?
That's right.
That's the reason you need to become now Messianic, which Messiah is the Christ. It's the same word. So now you believe in the Messiah, or you know that Christ or Yeshua, Jesus is the Messiah. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's the reason you're not Jewish.
Okay.
Like in the sense of the religion.
Correct.
Now you needed to step back and now be in the middle.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So regarding those experiences, it even took you to, and then we're still doing the opening to kind of let the audience get an idea of, your story and why why this show is going to be the way it's going to be, as the audience will soon learn. So these moves that you were making, or these paths you were taking, it even led you to be a teacher of a university of divinity, where you taught the Jewishness of Yeshua, which would be AKA the culture of Yeshua. You taught Jesus and the Torah, the two houses of Israel, secret meanings of parables of Jesus, and then Kabbalah and numerology in the Torah. Yes, was that accurate list of those things?
Yeah, and some other ones, but yeah, just
Yeah. So to kind of back it up a little bit, the university or a university of divinity, what was the name of that school?
well, se llamaba la Universidad de las Américas en Divinidad.
It was in Spanish that you took it.
Yeah. And then okay, so I came to the United States late 1985, and until right now I'm learning the language still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always learning.
Yeah.
There's always a new word. And then for me, it's like I learned the word, but I cannot say the word sometimes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know the word, but when you want to talk, it doesn't come out because it's not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm learning still the language. I mean, I should know it by now, but
You're doing great.
Yeah, you're doing good.
You ain't gonna worry about nothing.
You're doing good.
Great.
All right. So this is I love this. So we do have questions. Like this interview is going to get really deep as we start to get everybody involved here in these questions. And we will dive a little bit more into you expanding on some of this stuff that you taught, which should be very entertaining as far as, Jesus and the Torah, the two houses of Israel, the secret meaning of the parables, just like to even just you to chime in a little bit on that. And then Kabbalah numerology. But to start getting into this interview, we always want to, find out what you feel you might be most passionate about talking and sharing, what kind of specific ideas and beliefs that you might want to talk about, and then what you love talking about. And so we formulated these next, 15, 20 questions around that topic, which is going to be around salvation, faith, trying to explain God, because I'm sure a lot of people love that in their attempt to try to explain what God is and who God is, why people should read the Bible, what the purpose of life is, what we're doing here, where you're going. Okay, so everybody strap on your seatbelts because we're going to go ahead and dive deep right into all these questions right now. And so I'll start by just asking a broad one. And you might have answered it, but can you share your personal journey of faith and what led you, maybe the last part, what led you to seek salvation? Or is it okay to say it that way? Salvation.
yeah, salvation.
Okay.
Definitely. Going through my experience, salvation for, let's say, for not all the Catholics, but my experience being a Catholic. Salvation, I'm sorry, I didn't, it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but that's the way I experienced. It was not there. It was not offered to you. Like salvation, it was like far, maybe like it seems like very far away from you.
Not something that's discussed often or brought up a lot.
Exactly, or like it's available to you. No, it's like it's far. Even like God is actually not close. You don't feel it close. I didn't have that experience. And then there's there, because I was like growing up with idea of hell. No one wants to go to hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have that, and then they tell you, be a good boy and all of that. In Catholicism, they don't tell you repent because you're going to hell. It was not that way, but they tell you be a good boy, and that you're not good, like in there,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying, "Shh, maybe I'm going to hell, man." You know what I mean?
Maybe I'm going.
Anyway, that's what was my experience. So salvation in Catholicism is not offered, like it's not available.
Wow.
It's not something like, I want to say everyone is safe from my perspective, but you gotta grab into it, you alone, and say it. If that's the reason someone will offer it to you, and you in faith will grab into it, because no one save you. You save yourself
Yeah.
by believing in it
Mm-hmm.
and grabbing in, and then from there, like, it
So
expands.
So the question was, what led you to seek the salvation? It almost found you.
Exactly. I was not
You didn't know to look for it.
exactly.
Would you say that the Jewish view of salvation is more of a rescue?
No, for Jewish, salvation is like not that is coming. It's right now, and it starts right now.
Okay.
And then when we talk about like going to heaven, for Jews there is a term like is what they say, like the world to come, or olam haba. For Christian, maybe that's the Messianic era.
There you go. Could I ask you a
Mhm.
question?
Well, over it.
Was there a defining moment in your life when you felt God's presence in your life?
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely. And there is always a process, a path to go. It was one that was very, very strong, and I don't even know why that happened. Me and my sister were praying in a little hill. Then that was very special.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I felt like God was not God, but something that it was not there. It could be, I don't want to even say that an angel, but the experience was something was talking to me from inside of me.
Yeah.
It was not like voice over here. It was voice like inside.
Yeah.
It resonates in my whole body like a bottle. And it's telling me these things. And I was looking to my sister and then like saying, "Are you hearing this?" But no, she obviously not. It was me.
So let's switch gears a little bit. From history, all of history, people always ask, who's God? And a lot of people struggle with the question of who God is, and they try to describe him. How would you describe him?
Okay, let's see. Okay. My belief in God is something like Spinoza, but not totally. I believe that God is everywhere. Dog, tree, everywhere. It says in the beginning, God created heavens and earth. And then when it says Elohim, there's these not just one, but many gods that created heavens and earth. And then to be able to create everything, they put from their essence in there. It says the Bible, he created and he still sustains everything. So like the Big Bang moment still happening. It's happening like right now. We're part of it. That beginning, that motion, we are here.
It's beautiful. If there's how would you answer this question if you don't mind me asking? If someone was to ask you, what is the purpose of life?
The purpose of life, first of all, is to be alive. And forget about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Be
I agree.
alive, be grateful, You are the Big Bang. You know, it says that one of the not philosophers, but the good ones that tells you about the stars and all of that. They say the universe it's becoming conscious of itself through us, and I think that was beautiful.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong right there. Could you repeat that again?
So the universe is becoming conscious of itself through us.
I'm glad you brought that up. So why do you think so many people feel lost or uncertain about their purpose?
Through being saved or to have a purpose in life, it's first of all, it's through sacrifice. I know this is gonna sound like a cliche, sacrifice, because when you are like way down, it's because you don't have a direction. Once again, you don't have a direction. And then you want everything, but you need to sacrifice a lot.
Well, that makes sense because what we've learned is that if you have a sailboat and you're in the middle of the ocean, if you don't set that sail, you're not going to head in the right direction.
If you don't define a name, you can get lost.
So we'll switch gears again. Why do you believe that people should read the Bible?
Okay, the Bible is the greatest book in history.
Yes.
Okay, a canonical book. Why is it canonical? Canonical book is because many references to that book, it's to that book.
A lot of parables, right?
It's let's say you wanna be a philosopher. What are you gonna read? Or if I tell you like Socrates, say, oh yeah, they have a lot of reference, and those are the ones you're gonna go read. Okay, since the Bible is the most referenced book in the world, you need to know what is there because everybody values it. So you just to be an educated person, you need to know what it says.
Great answer.
Now I'm gonna be a devil's advocate. How many times has the Bible been rewritten?
Yes.
Great question.
Yeah. Many times. But this is the point. On the Bible, it's thousands and thousands and thousands because all the stories in the Bible tells you how to live.
What about the Quran?
I think I don't know much about the Quran, but I can tell you the religions that I went through. I don't have nothing against go there and stay there.
Well, no, I was not saying that. I was just saying because they said that it hasn't been rewritten as many times, or if any, as many times as the Bible has.
Like I said, in the Quran, I haven't gotten into it, so I just don't have knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, let me get a clarification on that. So there's translations. There's so many translations. There's the King James version. There's the American Standard version. There's the new. There's
Many.
probably 50 or more, but there's probably 50 translations. Would you be referring to that, or would you be referring to something completely different?
It could be that being rewritten in different translations. And so, as you had mentioned earlier, the best one to go with would be the Old Testament.
Okay.
So you would think that would be the most purest Bible to go with would be the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Or let me add really quick. I think it's important to distinguish that their originals are never been rewritten. You have the original Torah and the Old Testament prophets, and then you have the New Testament that's in Greek. And if you can read Greek and Aramaic, and if you can read Hebrew, well then, hey, you're getting the original stuff. But then that's where the translations step in. But then he's talking about also something. He brought a great point up when you grab a Strong's Concordance,
Yeah,
and you start, then you go through the painstaking, work of translating each word, and what each word might mean to you, and then
books
it's
to
a whole,
translate. Yes,
something different
yes.
now.
Yeah.
It's a deeper dive.
Yeah, and it's not every word. It's whatever catches your interest. You say, what does this word mean? Because it's like, what did he mean by that? And that's where you go. maybe you have like a different, you get a clarification. Right now, I'm sure you hit it in the phone and it will give it to you right away. Back in the day, it was like, well, I'm worried you don't get nowhere.
It-
But then it's like the Bible, you need to read it like any test. And then the Bible will play around in your head. But you need to do the reading.
Well, I love your answer. The question was why should people read it? And I think you nailed it. It's the most referenced book in the world.
Yeah.
So to know that is you're leaving a lot on the table to not know that.
Yeah, like there's the greatest books, and everybody knows it. Every educated person knows, like Dante and Milton, and I don't know. That's the greatest book. And then you say, but it was written by man, or something. They say, believe me, the stories are they're there psychologically. They're very deep.
Yeah.
You say, okay, what it says, like in Genesis, you read Genesis, and it's this story. That's Peshat, truth, like superficial, but there's meaning in there. It doesn't say like the serpent, the apple. It has a greater meaning than that. And those are the stories that it's selling you something.
Mhm.
The Cain and Abel story, it's very short, but it's so deep. Everything is in there.
Yeah.
It's just a few lines. If you unpack it psychologically, it has like the greatest meaning.
Are there specific scriptures that have deeply impacted your life?
There's always like verses that you treasure,
Mhm.
like the last one.
To expand off of Paul's question, were there scriptures that deeply impacted your life? If it's not maybe a scripture that you can come off the top of your head, how about books?
But books,
Are
yeah,
there books that have impacted your life? For
Oh, yeah.
me, I can say Proverbs.
Proverbs, yeah, definitely.
Impacted me pretty much.
Ecclesiastes is like the same.
Ecclesiastes. Okay.
Mm.
And for me, the book of Job has the same flavor. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So question. How does understanding God help clarify what we're doing here and where we're going?
That's deep.
Well, I think love, I think compassion, I think empathy, the things that were able to help, that God puts you through a lot of certain things in your life to bring you to an understanding that He is real, that He is love, that He's true, that He's committed to you, and that He's showing you how to love others. But God is going to pull you through something to get you to something.
Yeah, when I open myself up to God, I think that He teaches me to have empathy and to be grateful and to have understanding and to have patience and really try to think about things before I address certain things. It could be relationship, it could be an argument, misunderstanding, or just course correction. God is the GPS for me to be on track and just always do the right thing.
Yeah. And to what he's saying is like, I think that's the true know thyself thing.
Yeah.
Because then your conscience,
Yeah.
and you're saying, because you're getting to know yourself, and you said, okay, I get to these phases, and then I end up not
Yeah.
doing
I ask God
what I want to.
Yeah. I ask
see.
God for reassurance too.
Right.
I
That's
ask him
actually
to give me a sign
yeah.
or just have a talk with him. I know Ruben does.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say, when you ask the question what you're doing here, it starts to be very close to your purpose. And if you have two individuals where both of these individuals are asking their question of what's my purpose, what am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
I think the one who's starting to get to know God will find that purpose, and it'll be more meaningful, it'll probably hold more value than the one who doesn't have God. So I think understanding God does help clarify what we're doing here and where we're going. That was the way I understood it, but I was lucky to hear you guys talk before I shared.
Yeah. And then what he said is, I was actually pretty. It opened up something.
Oh, yeah.
He went into this like the Messianic era. Over there, there's no actually laws. There's actually like because he was saying like love, all of these that you cannot measure them.
Yeah,
There's no way to measure.
that's true.
Yeah.
But those are the ones like actually gonna take you to
A higher level of
a
consciousness.
higher level, like to what in Christianity call heaven. For Jews is the Olam Haba, or the world to come, where everybody goes in, but through what they do.
In this world filled with distractions and doubts, how can people keep their focus on God?
Okay, we need to understand this, that the world is malevolence in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to, it's going to come your way. There is malevolence out there. There is malevolence close to you. You know, Judas, someone is going to stab you in the back. And there is malevolence in you.
How do you personally stay strong in your faith when facing doubts or challenges?
Because you know they happen.
Well, I've been lucky, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, Ruben.
I think you have to put the work in. You know, it's just like how are you going to be able to in baseball, you know, be a good player if you don't practice? You know, how are you going to be able to
That's true.
open up a jar of how are you going to open up a jar of food? You know, if you don't got any strength,
Yeah.
you know, how are you going to
Got baby strength.
Yeah,
You got to get the reps in.
You got to get the reps
Yeah.
in. So you got to be working
Yeah.
on yourself. You got to be putting in the work.
Yeah, that was pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Snaps.
No, yeah. I mean,
Flash media.
Eavesdrop podcast.
yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It opened up like a lot of scenarios.
Yeah, man, we hitting you with some questions, huh?
No, I mean, that was pretty good, and that's the reason.
Community. Yeah, you made a great point.
Yeah.
But I remember this thing that, and this, it goes back to being like a Goel, like a savior. A savior is it's a title, like Moses was a savior, Joseph was a savior, and Jesus, his name means salvation, Yeshua. Okay, what happens to us? It's like Joseph. If you don't have, like you said, like pressure with stuff in life, your body will not like turn on and be the best you could be. And all of these things will unlock according to those pressures, and then that's the reason. And Kabbalah says that we are sparks of the divinity, and we are here to make it greater, and it's that way.
Okay, we're gonna switch gears again. This is gonna be along what you taught when you were teaching. So I have a question. So when you say you were teaching the Jewishness of Yeshua, but in other words, it could also be the culture of Yeshua. Explain that.
Jesus, where did he go? To church? No.
He went to the
Exactly. He went to a synagogue.
Yeah, the synagogue.
Did he went on Sunday? No. He went on Shabbat.
Yeah, he went on Saturday.
You know, and then did he broke the law? Those are the questions.
Those are the questions.
Yeah, he broke the law, and that's the reason you have to dive into, like, this is New Testament, but he was tested in every single direction. That's it says, like, you know, the lamb before his sacrifice, it is tested on all many different levels.
Let me dive in there really quick. So to clarify, so when you say the Jewishness of Yeshua, was his Jewishness challenged?
In this case, if he didn't fulfill Torah,
okay,
he broke the law. You know what I mean? Because
Very
everybody
interesting.
was pushing. Because he was actually radical.
Yeah, I would say so. So were you and when you were describing the Jewishness of Yeshua, are you teaching that aside from the fact that Jewishness maybe rejected him, he was full Jew? And
He was full Jew.
but not in the sense of a race. It's almost in the sense of Judaism.
Yeah, culturally.
Cultural. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
That makes sense. Could you explain the secret meanings found in the parables of Jesus?
I think the book of Malachi says something like this. It says, when the Messiah comes, he will come, el sol saldrá de nuevo, y the sun will come up, and it will come up to the world, and his wings will bring salvation. And salvation is healing. And then now, translation, wings, talit. It's not wings, it's the talit. It's something that the Jewish wears,
Yeah.
where there's some like little
Tassels at the bottom. Yeah, yeah.
tassels.
Fringes.
Yeah,
You can see them walking around in Hollywood a lot.
Yeah, you
for
do.
sure.
You do.
Yeah, the tassels, there are specific numbers, 613 commandments in the Torah. So not everything is equals 213, and his wing will bring salvation. It was a woman that was bleeding for
12 years.
and then she went into and touched
His robe.
his tassel, the wings.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
So she was saying, you are the Messiah. And automatically, she was healed. Because she was following Torah,
Beautiful.
and then he knew who touched me. But in this way, like he's...
And then he sent out someone to seek her, and who touched me? Is that the story?
Yeah, that's the story. Who then they said, come on.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
Everybody's here. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
That's
Who
deep.
touched me?
That's very deep.
So wait a minute, you just made a connection of the story of the woman that was bleeding for 12 years when she went and touched his garment and she was healed. You connected that to Malachi right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
That's huge. I like how you explain that. So
Wow.
And that was and that's in the Bible. If you don't know the culture, how it connects, then
Correct.
yeah, that's the reason you need. I mean, it's good.
yeah, I think everybody individually, it's really based on how much research you've done in the Bible to really know where you stand and where you sit. You know, I think other people, and I think this is why people get together and they conjugate and talk about. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but I just think that everybody's in a different spectrum. So let me ask you this, since you're already talking about it. Explain the Kabbalah and numerology in the Torah, if you will.
Okay, if you go like the book of Genesis, it's full of numbers.
Yeah.
Like we went into like Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And so to get wisdom, it's from the heart. And then you go into words in Hebrew. Heart in Hebrew is lev, equals 28.
Wow.
There is 20 paths of wisdom that come to you, and that's what Solomon taught.
Wow.
There's 28. He says there is time for everything, right? There's time
For war.
for peace, to kill. So get the wisdom and life. Okay, this is another thing. Life, it's all mixed. If you have only good, it's no good.
Yeah.
And if you have only bad,
You need to
it's
have a
no
balance.
good. Everything is tangled, but you need to know where to act the right way.
Where's the balance? Like,
Where exactly? If you're in the balance, that's the magical. When people go to work and something LDL, people go to work and then there's too much chaos, and to be able to rebuke the mind, they going to drink ayahuasca and these all of drugs, and that what that does, it rebukes your brain and it brings it out of whack.
Ego death.
And that's the reason you I'm not advertising it, but they say it's really good, and that's what it does. Okay, now we're going to food. The best food is found like wild. But we as a society, we want everything like the same, only corn, only this. And then what you eat is only like a few things. Rice, beans, and this. And then it says a monkey will eat like I don't know, at least 30 things. He will not eat just one thing. That's the reason too much order is not good for you. Then it will become very rigid.
You know what's funny? I never in my life had heard that I would have thought that an animal was more simple, and an animal would just eat the same thing.
Right.
You know, one or two things.
but
three
he's
things.
right, though.
And he's like the monkeys can eat 30 different things.
Yeah.
They do. They eat a lot of fruit.
You
They
can
eat
have
like
grapes, have
many different
strawberries,
This
mint
and that.
leaves.
And
It's
then,
true. I mean, bears eat berries.
and then there's the reason we should eat like many different things.
Yeah.
And then go out of the city, to recalibrate yourself. Not too much order,
That's true.
but not too much chaos.
What role does prayer play in strengthening the relationship with God?
You need to be honest with yourself, I guess, and say, I need help. I mean, I really I have this problem that I don't even know how to go about it. My son, your daughter, work or whatever.
Question: which one's more powerful, prayer or faith?
So that's a deep question.
Is that legal to answer?
Wow. I mean, go for it.
I think for myself, it will be prayer, because it's something that you can do multiple times a day to keep setting the sail in the right direction, so that you can, your belief in God stays strong, and your faith will obviously follow. If you're putting in the action and the work through your prayer, your faith will follow.
Repeat the question.
What's more powerful, prayer or faith?
Yeah, I'd say prayer,
It's what Todd said.
because that's what gives you the faith, right?
That's exactly right. It's the repetition of prayer eventually will trigger a faith. It'll like a seed. It'll grow it.
The unknown, but we still have the prayer. So
Yeah. I think that's I think so too. It's like it's first that, and then the other thing will develop.
Because if you don't have any faith, somebody who keeps praying, I think faith will
Right.
be born.
So you're agreeing to prayer?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Because that builds up the shield. That builds up that shield for you to go out there every single day. Is that prayer that you put in last night? Even though you put it in last night, it wasn't guaranteed that you can pray again in the morning. So when you get up, first thing we say is thank you. Then we drink a big glass of water, because that's what we're made of,
Well said.
to recharge ourselves.
Yeah. And if you're in that vibe, I think you're already in a good
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, that's, definitely.
Yep.
And if, regardless, we have to keep going.
That's true. So this is my question to wrap up for myself, to you, would be, for someone new to reading the Bible, where should they start?
Like everybody personality is different. For me, I'm always all over the place.
Yeah.
So I was all over the place.
So like when you say all over the place, because sometimes when I open up the Bible, and if I'm bad, I open up the Bible and you get right into a book and you're like, oh man, they're talking about adultery. Oh man, don't make me a sandwich.
So did you read several books? Did you only read one? Did you start with like how?
I started reading. Okay, I didn't know anything about the Bible until I was 26. He gave me the Bible. He says, open up. And then I was like, nothing. I was thinking Job was God. And a girl came up to me, started teaching me.
Yeah.
So we started on Book of Job. And then I was pretty deep book.
Yeah.
And then for me, I was always attracted to wisdom. I don't know, it's a cliche, but anyways, I started reading Proverbs, Ecclesiastics, For me, Job is like a wisdom book, because there's like the friends of Job talking, and they were like, wow, all of, like you said, these questions are deep.
Yeah.
And then let's go back to what deep is. Where we're talking about like what books are big, because many books depend on that. And when someone says something deep, it's because many other ideas are connected to that. And you can feel like that it touches something fundamental, But not only that, many other things are driving into this either deep or high idea. You can feel it in your being.
Yeah.
You say, oh, yeah, like,
Yeah, that's
I heard it this because that touches, it lights up a lot of stuff in you.
Yeah.
You say, whoa, this is deep, profound.
It connects.
It connects.
It connects with you.
And that's the reason we call those phrases or in this case, books. They were like deep.
So is there a book that you would suggest a new beginner to start in the Bible? I mean, I know you just went right in, but now that you're knowledgeable and you know more, would you suggest something for a new reader?
I don't know. I will maybe ask Ruben I would throw the question over there because I don't have nothing.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Thank you.
Well, let me ask him another question then, since he wants to throw that Ruben. Unless you,
Oh yeah,
I would say I usually point people in the direction of Proverbs
okay,
because it's a book that talks about practical things of life.
Yeah.
And it brings knowledge that knowledge can convert into wisdom. And that helps people. That helps people appreciate knowledge.
Yeah.
It helps people appreciate wisdom. And that's usually attached to God.
Yeah.
So if somebody can get into Proverbs and appreciate some stuff in there, they just took a couple steps closer to God.
Opening up that pineal gland, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said, wisdom.
Yeah, but see, just to have like I don't know, I feel it this way. We're talking about meat. It's the same thing what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, for instance, what will be like another book for a beginner? Because for whatever reason is a vibe, I think we're like vibing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, yeah, we're agreeing. So maybe what like
another one?
Milk. So you say meat. Okay, let's go to milk. What will be like a milk?
No, I think that there's milk and meat in Proverbs.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can interpret that way. So I have a question for you. If you could give the audience with one key takeaway about salvation and faith, what would it be?
You are safe, but you need to hold on to it. You need to believe it. Even if you don't believe it, believe it.
That's huge. Oh, that's huge. That's
And
true.
then from there it says the word is within you. You just say it.
Comes to life.
Comes alive. I am. Don't let it go. And then, dive into the Bible.
Yeah. Let me touch on that. I think, in my opinion, because I grew up in a church as a kid, I think that there's a lot of rules and regulations when dealing with religion. Like Christianity has 10 commandments, right? Jewish community has 200 commandments or well, I mean, when you think about it, like in LA, Todd said, you see the Jewish community, they're walking, they can't drive, they're wearing all black and white, they have their fringes.
Right.
Some of them wearing these fancy hats.
Right.
Hold on, I gotta dive in there really quick. They can't drive? That's real?
No, they can't drive, bro.
That's real?
I mean,
I never heard of that.
I think it's
I mean, I see them walking a lot, but I never heard of that.
bro.
Oh, you about to get canceled?
They can't eat either.
On Saturdays, well, that goes into kosher, they cannot eat like certain stuff. But going back, a good thing we're not Jewish.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
No. Okay. What I'm saying is it's really difficult if you're not born in the culture, But I don't think. Don't look at it the way you guys looking at it. No, just go in, and all of this other stuff is gonna shade away by itself. It's gonna lose power in you. It's. But you need to just be there, and all of these things that you say is difficult. It's like, okay, all of the things that the Bible says not to do, you would agree not to do. 100%.
I mean, I drink. I'm not supposed to drink.
Okay. Well, I don't. For me, if you drink, it's what's wrong with drinking?
I don't think anything's wrong with it.
I mean, I'm not saying drink, but
I would say that some of the warnings that come in the Bible are for what it could become. In other words, you say don't touch the stove because it's hot, and you really mean it, but you can touch it and go get burned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can drink, but I would say that probably the ultimate warning is don't become an alcoholic.
Yes. Yes.
Don't be a glutton over those things, right?
Right. So that's why you're saying you can do it. Just don't.
Love God and love yourself, love your brother. And if you do that, you're fulfilling all of them. You know why? Because you wouldn't do anything to him if it's like your own body.
Treat me how you want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. That. You wouldn't do nothing that you shouldn't do because it's you. And Kabbalah says he's over there, but it's you.
Mhm.
Like your wife. It's you.
So the question was, what are the things that are the same? So now the second part of the question is, what would be the things that are different? And you kind of referenced the fact that it's mainly just diet that makes them different.
Right. Diet
and doctrine.
And doctrine, because the doctrine is really strict, and it's if you're not born there, it's really difficult.
And when you say diet, you're mainly referring to
kosher. You need to eat kosher.
Okay.
Kosher meaning like
Jewish blessed.
Yeah, but it talks in the Bible what you should eat and what you shouldn't.
Strict diet.
Like fish has to have scales. If it's like
if no scales,
and then if the food of the animal, it's not like this.
Oh, the hoof.
You shouldn't eat it.
Wow. If it's like that, you shouldn't eat it. Or like this.
Yeah. What's the same? Like a sheep. And the other ones have like something like this. And what is it? It's like those animals supposedly they feed in an energy that is not good for you. Bottom line, they feed in. The earth is an ecosystem.
It is.
If it survives by itself, everything that is in here, it has a good purpose, and it works. So nothing is bad. Anyway,
so another thing that you taught about Jesus in the Torah. What exactly was your aim in teaching about Jesus in the Torah?
Because sometimes they want to get Jesus out of the equation being you, and then say like, no, he was like a full Jew. He was like 100% a Jew.
Okay, that's what you okay. So it goes back to the cultural part then.
Culture part. He didn't broke no commandments, and then he says, "I am the
fulfillment
of the prophets
and the law."
Okay,
all right. All right. Another question. Well, what do you have to say about reincarnation?
Oh,
that's deep.
That is, it's a great question.
Reincarnation. Go for it.
well, this show, it's a unique show. What I believe in reincarnation, I think there's a purpose. I think we haven't. We'll come back again in some form or fashion.
Well, maybe we already here.
This might be my second,
maybe the third time, fifth time.
I haven't tapped into that yet, but I'm sure that I have because of the things that I've been through in my life.
Mm-hmm.
People wouldn't have really been here. They would have done something different. For the things that I've seen in my life, for the people that have passed on, and for me to be strong to be here, there is a purpose here. And I have 4 sons.
And we're philosophizing about this, okay? Okay, I think where you are, I think you went already, you have corrected. In Kabbalah, there is a phrase, is tikkun olam. Tikkun olam means that we are here to correct the world or to make it to the original. And we are working on it with it.
Yeah.
We are part of that. For me, it makes sense, reincarnation. There are so many things that don't make sense. And reincarnation fills up the blank.
Yeah.
Okay, why there's this guy? It's why a guy is faithful. He is faithful? What the heck? And why this other guy has 99 not faithful. It's really hard.
They're reckless.
And why? I mean, because this guy already went through a lot of stuff. He says, you know what the heck? I'm done with.
So Todd made a comment. I think he made this comment where he almost said, and correct me if I'm wrong, brother. You almost said that come back as one thing or another.
Right.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you embrace human reincarnation or reincarnation in general?
In general, no.
You can come back like as an animal.
And then, no, I was always referring being human.
Okay.
Because I think in the reincarnation cycle, once you're human, you already went through.
So let me throw a curveball at you.
Mhm.
So earlier you described God as God is in everything.
Mhm.
He's in everything. So what makes it? How do you distinguish if God's in everything? Should it matter if you come back as a human or if you didn't come back as a human? Should it matter if God's in everything? Or once you get to, or once, where did you evolve either too? Did you evolve? Were you once an animal and an animal
Exactly,
is a lower
exactly.
level?
Yeah,
and then
that's what I
evolve?
meant.
But once you jump into human,
Yeah, that's you're right there. When I say you went through the evolution, you went through the whole evolution
from us, okay.
from being like a rock where you're just right there to then have ego, like where you move like a tree, and then animal with no conscience. Some
Wow.
when now you're
And
conscience.
and you made a statement. You said that there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but something like this made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a difficult topic to
Okay,
take in.
there's many
It
things
is.
in life that will not make sense. Even you say, why is this like? The only way it makes sense for me is you put the reincarnation in. Okay, then it makes sense. I'm gonna tell you something. Not everybody believes in reincarnation, but some, like Kabbalah, yeah, they believe in reincarnation. So not even in Catholicism. Okay, here's this. Paul in the Bible.
There he is. Here
Okay.
you go, P.
Used to be Saul.
He is the reincarnation of Saul. Okay, follow this.
I follow.
Okay, the nation of Israel wanted a king, and then Samuel says, "No, you don't want a king.
Mhm.
No, we want a king, like everybody else." And says, "Okay." Then the prophet says, "Okay, go to the tribe of Benjamin. Go to the tribe of Benjamin, and then you're gonna find this person, the tallest one, and this and that, and that's gonna be your king." And then the stories went on, and then God told, Saul, you go to this nation and you kill everybody.
Mhm.
Okay? And then he didn't. He saved, animals and women. He didn't kill everybody. So he disobeyed. That's the reason he was taken out. The kingdom was on Benjamin's line. It should not move. But where's the kingdom?
David's
From the
Judah.
Jew. Exactly,
Judah.
because he lost it right there. The kingdom should be in, Benjamin?
Under the line of Benjamin.
Okay, now when he's talking about his genealogy, I am Jew of Jew from the tribe of
Benjamin.
And what was Paul doing? Killing everybody.
Mhm.
Why? Because he in his reincarnation didn't obey killing, and now he has this saying, I didn't kill what God told me. Now he got this stuck in there. He's now killing everybody. And we're talking about you need to do the right things on the right. Killing, when it's a war, it's okay. It's okay. But killing in a not word, it's not okay.
What do y'all think about this?
That sounds like.
I hope you guys are eavesdropping.
No one got arrested.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you can,
let me throw a curveball at you, Jesse. You said there's the
hold
explainable.
on. Let me finish
Okay.
with this. Now it is right there. He was the reincarnation of Saul. Now doing the wrong thing in the wrong time.
Yeah.
And that's the way I learned it, and there's many others that
No,
are
that makes sense. Reincarnation from Saul to Paul. Is that what you're saying?
right,
Okay.
because it's the same tribe doing the wrong thing, and then reincarnation will put you. Let's say in the past life, someone kills you. Reincarnation will bring you to that moment where you're gonna have now the gun.
Yeah.
But how will you evolve from that one? Not killing. It's not. This is gonna,
Got it. Yeah.
how will you evolve to being this way or that way? But you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So let me ask you. So each of us, and this is maybe off script a little bit, but each of us have a certain seed that's planted inside of us. We're all human form right now, but we're really spiritual beings living a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something inside of you that's very special, something inside of Ruben and Paul and myself. Have you found that special message from God to achieve a certain goal or something in your life that you know that you need to hit? Because there's certain things that's in my mind right now that I need to achieve. There's certain goals, there's visions
Right.
that I want to achieve in my mind, but only I know how to get there and how to achieve them. Where I think I do, but it's actually God that's controlling my thoughts, right? So I know that I'll get there essentially with prayer, dedication, faith, building that up. Is there something that you found in your life that got you to the point?
No. But touching upon those things, like, yeah, I think that's the right path, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, because we were saying, who am I and what's my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, see, going back to the Bible is it's telling you how to live. And once you find those things, man, if you're not eating, you thinking make like you can cheat? No.
Wow.
If you want to eat, it says work. You should have enough.
Yeah.
Simple. You will have enough. You want to get rich? This is from ladies. You will get rich doing something else, not working.
I want to
eavesdropping.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question because my dad was a big believer in the Bible and he read the Bible avidly. And he read something that threw him off in the beginning stages of when he was reading about Adam and Eve. And, when Adam and Eve got casted out because, Eve and Adam ate the apple, Adam went back to God and said, but I don't want to leave the garden because they will get me. Was he talking about aliens? Was he talking about other beings? Was he talking about Neanderthals, cavemen? Like, what do you think in the Bible, Adam?
I would say mankind.
Mankind. Okay.
And that's very rare that I've heard that. I've heard that maybe once or twice before.
Okay,
It's deep.
Yeah.
Here's another twist, but we're now getting into like these stories that make sense once again. Adam had another wife before Eve. Her name is Lilith.
Wife?
Another wife.
Whoa. So
How they get married?
That's Jewish tale now, right?
Yeah.
Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith. You know Lilith?
Yeah.
And Latino wolf is La Llorona.
Oh,
Llorona?
La
La
Llorona.
Llorona. There's a
What's that?
okay. She's a spirit that don't like the sons of Eve, because Adam didn't. He preferred Eve, and she didn't. She rejected. Says, and
This is
then
a twist.
Yeah, I've
I've never heard this.
I've never heard this either.
okay.
Give my
well,
popcorn. Wow.
Yeah, and then the sons of Lilith, and then you can throw that.
So that was
Like-
Adam's stepsons.
Well,
Adam's sons directly.
Adamites and Evites.
Okay, Evites.
Cain. I would probably say Cain and Abel's stepbrothers.
Then when they say the first humans like us was Cain and Abel, and that's the reason you have a lot on that story of Cain and Abel. What happened right there? It was like first humans.
Well, because of Genesis, doesn't it break down the family members?
Yeah. But
That's
the first one was this couple.
Right.
Chapter 1.
Right.
Chapter 1.
Right.
Anyway,
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, so the sons of the first wife, then is this wife don't like us, the descendants of Adam, because she was rejected. That's the reason they say when the babies come out, if they don't do like the proper things, the spirit of
Lilith.
Lilith will kill and she's crying, "Oh, my babies."
You know,
That's
that's
the tale.
what's funny is it sounds like Abraham's situation. So Abraham was waiting to have a birth with have a baby.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Sarah.
The story repeats itself many times, huh?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so switch gears again. We're in the fourth quarter now. So
That's crazy.
what's your opinion of hell, Satan, and fallen angels?
Okay, let's go for hell. I get hell. You get fallen angels, and what was the other one?
He's
Oh,
delegating.
this is
delegating.
Okay.
This is your podcast. We'll talk about the Lakers if I got to. Luca.
Okay,
What's your
wait,
opinion?
hold on. Let me get hell first.
Hell, Satan, and fallen angels.
Okay. Hell. Hell, it's not something that is temporary. It's temporary. It's not permanent. On the Bible describes like a place where it's good for you to be there. They call it Egypt. Egypt is hell. It's a place where you go. In Spanish says, atonement. In English, atonement. In Spanish says penitencia. Penitenciaria is they throw you in jail. Penitentiary. They throw you in jail. Why? Because you missed the mark. So you need, when you go through life, you need to meditate or throw your yell. You need to get the picture right where you messed up. So you get things right. Hell is it's a place where you're thrown out, temporary, so you can be rehabilitated to a higher level. There's always, we're talking about being better. It's just about being better to fix the things that you need to fix. That now you're aware.
Yeah.
But many times, like I said, you go to Yale and you come back and you just don't know anything.
Yeah.
That's the reason going back to, I don't know, Christianity, that Jesus save you and that's it. It sounds like that, but it's not like that. You need to go through this, and it happens to you all the time. And it says, if you go into the temple and then you remember you messed up, leave your offering right there and go and fix the stuff with whoever you messed up. Saying, first, I'm sorry. Let me repay you, and that you do that, and then that's brings you like higher and a higher level, like like a kind of reincarnation in on the same life, not in the bigger sense of
Satan and the fallen angels.
That was a good answer, by the way.
Yeah,
because it helps you keep continuously ascend.
You
keep ascending as you have the ability to repent, redo, and then ascend again by knowing you're doing the right work.
Right. Like, for example, now we're this age. And then we say, oh, if I knew this, let's go back. I would have acted differently.
Yeah.
Towards my son or my daughter or my wife. We say it honestly.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well, because there's a certain age in which we wake up as like adults to say those things. But when we're in our adolescence or when you're early 20s, we have too much ego and we're too egotistical as men, I would say. Women, I don't know about you ladies, but for men, we have too much ego to allow God into our life, to allow him to control us in a way that we can express ourselves that way.
Right.
And we simply don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. It's that way too. And now, like, say, when we talk about reincarnation or going back to your age, whatever, but I think you go back and you lose all what you know. It wouldn't be fair to go back and be this. But I think that's what reincarnation kicks in. I don't know.
I see some smart ass little kids out there. They always
exactly.
You're like, how does that little kid know that, man?
Exactly.
That little kid must be like 67 years old talking like that.
Yeah. I mean,
who is that little guy?
Been here before.
You've been here before.
Before you answer about Satan and fallen angels, what do you think about this saying? I heard somebody say they were describing hell, and they described it like this: hell is when God doesn't want to look at you anymore. Or hell is when God doesn't want to look in your direction anymore. What do you think? You think that's a scary thought?
He looking at Paul.
Yeah,
Said,
look, yeah. And Paul, and Paul is looking that way.
He's looking at
All right, forget what I said.
No, okay.
Satan in
No,
hell.
I like
that
I like it. Go ahead and
question.
ask it.
I like that
Ask it.
question.
No, okay.
No, I want to get in on it too. Go ahead and ask it.
Okay,
I
you
wanna get on it
wanna
too.
get in on?
No, but go ahead. You start though.
Okay.
We're all gonna get on it. You go first, though. We're gonna get on it.
Okay, but I'm gonna.
We're waiting on you, and then we'll.
Okay. Let me go. Okay, I have this thought that. Repeat it.
So hell is when God doesn't want to look in your direction anymore.
Okay, I have a different opinion about this.
Well, that. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think God reaches from the top to the very, very because going back to salvation, it says if some part of Christian says if you're saved, you will never lose your salvation. Right now, I don't remember the exact quote, but it says if you go straight from the path, if you repent, God will listen to you. Which means you can be really, really down, but if you turn back, he will.
Okay, so let me challenge that. Is hardening of the heart real?
Yeah.
So if hardening of the heart is real,
yeah,
that individual can experience God not looking in that direction anymore.
Yeah. And in that sense, I think we're talking about hell. Sometimes we feel we're in hell. Definitely. Yeah. And then about direction. We were talking about direction, remember?
Yeah.
You are aiming down. And you think it's down. No. It's a bottomless pit. You can go down.
Yeah, and that's true.
That is true.
So that's the reason we need to be, I don't know, not afraid, but...
Can I ask you this? So is it basically, when you're saying going down, are you saying you're driving your consciousness down where you're not allowing yourself any type of access to any goodness, but you just keep looking down? And is that with thought? Is that...
Okay. There's this book where normal people, they were chosen to be a police for the concentrations.
Experiment.
Yeah. Normal people like you and I. Okay, you want to work here? Yeah, we'll be a police. Policing the Jews. And little by little, they were there. They were studying. Okay, normal. Okay, it's a work. Okay, now they're trying oppressing them, and they didn't even know it. And all of the sudden, they were oppressing too much, and they were part of it. Part of these. They say, "Oh, only Hitler did it." No, everybody did it. Where you just don't know, you're being part of it. You're being punishing them. You think bad is bad. Bad is killing someone. No, bad is what they did.
Abuse the power.
They don't kill you. They make you suffer. You're skinny. They don't feed you, and then it's raining on call. Take that sack of salt and put it there. And then when you put it there, and now you put it over there. That's and that's what they did. And that is going down. And
so
and it's I say you don't even know it.
Depravity.
Yeah, okay.
And you're going in the wrong direction. And I think we should be fearful of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard to break that level of consciousness if you're consistently thinking in that spiral down. It's hard to catch.
Good word.
You don't know any other way to think.
No. Well, again, we're talking about thought, right? So you're letting these bad thoughts come inside your personal being. These, in which we're thinking dominate.
Exactly. And then they dominate, and it's brewing in your mind, this resentfulness, and then it turns into hate, and it's brewing, and then the kid comes out with the gun, goes to school, and boom, 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 boom. Kills everybody.
I think
it doesn't make any sense.
Just going down, your consciousness continues to go down a spiral.
Yeah,
where it's just
a downward spiral.
Where it goes from worse to worse to worse.
And then all the thoughts is around that direction that you're aiming.
What are some things that can catch a person when they are going through these things? Because there's listeners that we have now that are going to watch this that are going to want to know how can they stop themselves from going into downward thought.
Well, I mean, like you want to be safe. You know, the Bible point up. There's always like listen to. You know,
Joel,
Change the vibration, right?
change the vibration. Like, you know, accept that you need help. There's help.
Accepting you. Yeah.
So look for some
and it
motivation
doesn't have to
speakers.
be a person. Right now, there's podcasts.
So
You know, there's like someone.
Eavesdrop podcasts.
so swinging it back to the question, you touched on Satan, believe it or not, when you talked about Cain. So hell, Satan, fallen angels. What do you think about fallen angels?
Okay, it says that. Okay.
Oh, that's a Nephilim.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's where you're going. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. The sons of God. There's only the sons of God is only Adam and these other beings that are called the sons of God. Jesus. We are to be the sons of God through believing in the Messiah. Okay. It says the Bible, Genesis 6, the sons of God saw the women and then they liked them. And they came down and they choose.
Sexual mates.
Yeah, exactly. Then the angels came down, Book of Enoch.
Mhm.
Then you jump into the Book of Enoch and then you know the names of the captains and how many came down. It tells the story. And then they knew they shouldn't, it says you shouldn't cross species. It's a sin.
So that sounds deeper than just like a human falling with a parachute coming to find a mate. It sounds like another being came to the earth.
Another being, and then they cohabitated with women, and then the fruit of that, what do you think? Half angel and half human.
So tainted.
Like a Nephilim, which means they're hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
And these hybrids,
So conclusion, hell, Satan, and fallen angels, they're not dismissed. You don't dismiss them. They have a story, obviously.
oh yeah. And then that's the reason the Noah's destruction.
Yeah.
That was the point to take those beings out.
All right, another question. Do you believe in miracles?
Oh yeah. Like I think you kind of mentioned.
He almost died.
Exactly. I mean, like definitely that happened, and then you know, I think you know. It's like this should have had happened to me and didn't.
Okay, that was a kind of like an indirect type of thing. Like in other words, somebody didn't yank him and pull him down, and somebody didn't maybe block a bullet that was coming his way, or maybe it did. I'm talking about a different type of miracle.
you
Oh, really? You were
Yeah,
talking about
just-
different?
Yeah, like how about bringing back somebody from the dead?
Oh.
How about growing out an arm?
Oh,
How about bringing sight? You know what Jesus did. Do you
mhm.
believe in those miracles? Did that happen? Didn't happen? Those are parables. Does it happen still? Doesn't happen no more, but it did used to happen? Like all that.
Great question.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you go to the Bible, these are the signs of the Messiah. And that's the reason he did all of these things. It's a sign. And then you know that he is. Okay, that's that. According to the Bible, yes, that these are the signs that, you know, that says that he is the one. Going back to reality, I mean, it's like let's throw the ball to each other. Like, you know, miracles in that way. Do I think that can happen? Yeah. I have seen them? No.
Okay.
I have.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Jalen Paul Marshall. That's my son. Born at 27 weeks, which is 6 months and a week. He was the size of my hand. Born in an incubator, had jaundice, had eye surgery in both eyes, lungs clapped 3 times, 5 blood transfusions, and he had open heart surgery on day 3. Wow. And there was 28 births on his day. And I watched 6 babies die in the NICU in Pomona, California. So shout out to Pomona Valley Hospital. That hospital was also going through a strike. The mother of my son couldn't see her son for almost a month because she was sick. The surgery they performed on her stomach reopened her she had something going on in her abdominal area. She had a hernia, so they recut it open and that got infected. Sorry to put you out there, but I saw 2 miracles happen in a short span, but it felt like it was forever. My son was in the NICU for 4 months.
Wow.
So yeah, I've seen miracles happen.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
anyways.
Yeah. No.
Well, you know, the miracles that I've seen
Mm-hmm.
is probably the opposite. You
Okay.
know, and it's probably it's I've seen my parents pass away and I've seen my brother pass away.
Yeah.
Now I know that sounds like, you know, tragedy, but for the most part, I think that's God showing me a miracle.
Hmm.
I think he's given me favor in this life
Mm.
and he's given me strength. And so I use it as a fuel to do the best that I can for my sons and for my family, you know, for my friends as well too, to show them strength and that God truly loves us and you can continuously move forward regardless of what the things you've seen. So one of the most angelic things that I've seen is when I walked in and my mother was dead on the bed, she was laying right next to her Bible.
Man.
You know, and it was opened up. And you know my mom, right? You know, Ruben's been knowing my mom since he was 13 years old. Mrs. Wright, you know,
That's right.
one of the most respectful people, one of the most respectful friends I ever have in my life. To share time with my parents, which I appreciate. So, you know, I can't make these things up. And to know that God was there to take my mom as his own and take her back with him. I know that she was in a good standing. I know that she was in a good place. And, you know, I've built a lot of strength from that. I used to be a lot weaker. I couldn't talk about these things. I would break down, get emotional. I still do them my own times, but seeing those things and being involved with that has utterly just given me the most strength in my life to overcome any obstacle. I know that I've ever been challenged with, I can overcome it. Wow, because I have those strengths, and those are my angels.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something, Ruben?
No, I was
No.
we're gonna
My clack.
yeah, we're still going. All right,
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good.
2-minute warning here. So here we go. We're gonna wind this up. But to describe yourself, you had 3 words to describe yourself, and I think you nailed all of them. But we haven't seen this side yet. You're curious, you're deep, yes, and you're fun. You got a joke?
Well, okay.
Or-
let me,
Tell us
He's thinking
something
about a joke.
fun.
He's thinking
Let
about
it-
a
let-
joke. Yeah,
let
what
it-
the fuck is joke? What's
Okay.
What do you like to do? What do you like to do?
No, here's a joke.
I thought about it.
Okay. Let me remember. I'm actually good at that. Okay, and this way. Because I hear it once, and then you just don't know, but once you try to kind of recollect it and then put it the way it's supposed to, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Put the
Okay.
sandwich back together. Let's do this.
Yeah, so it was this Jewish guy. He went to his rabbi and says, "Oh man, I'm going through hard times. My son became a Christian and I don't know what to do, And then he's, talking to his rabbi and this and that. And he said, "Oh yeah." And then they're going through this hard thing, he's now a Christian. And then they say, "You know what? Let's pray to God. See what he says." And then they start praying. And then God said, let me tell you about my son.
I like that.
That was good.
Let me tell you about my son. I like that.
That was good. All right, good deal. All right, last 3 questions. If you could eavesdrop on any historical conversation, you put the conversation between Job and his 3 friends. Now, for our audience that may not be familiar with the story of Job, put that in perspective.
Okay, well, over there it was like a lot of wisdom going on. Because all of the talks that they were talking, you would say like, I don't see anything wrong with that, because you put yourself there, and how your answers will be, how you talk to your, and how he was answering. And you say like, I don't see any problems because I will say that or that, and it was like very deep, and for me, like just to be there, hearing and maybe asking, and like that's the reason I say like that
Okay.
place.
And I think to give perspective to our audience, the story of Job is when, he had all that calamity fall upon him, where he ended up losing his home, his family, his wealth. And then he got sick, and and his friends came to visit him through all this depression and this anguish and this confusion. And his friends started having a back and forth conversation with him. And that's what he's talking about, that he would love to have been, eavesdropping on that conversation, because it's true. What all the friends were offering and Job's responses, you almost kind of say to yourself, he's right. So is he.
Yeah.
He's right too.
Yeah.
So is he.
and then going through Job, he never lost faith. I think for me, Job has a lot of resemblance in Jesus.
Right on.
And that's the reason that like in the end of the story that he got double.
Yeah, everything
after that story, he got anyway.
So one of the things that you have on your list that you would love to do would be to visit Rome, Italy.
Yeah. I mean Rome, Italy, Jerusalem, but because the temples, they have a lot of story in there. So yeah, I would like to visit.
You mean the Roman gods' temples? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, like where Zeus resides,
and
right?
all of them. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, last one. So, you like any song? Any music comes from Coldplay?
Oh yeah. I love Coldplay.
Coldplay,
yeah.
And then Avicii.
Yeah, Avicii, because I'm from the era of you know guys
DJs?
with Avicii. Yes, a DJ.
No, he has the karaoke box right next to Ruby.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
So anything so basically, you like European music because
I
they're
like
British.
European music.
They're British, and then you got Swedish.
Yeah, exactly.
You like Swedish? You like?
Yeah, and I like that European music for whatever reason.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm 57, so like that music 80s.
So you missed the disco? No disco?
No disco. Yeah.
No freestyle music?
Yeah.
And I hear music.
You like Swedish House Mafia?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, Avicii.
He likes house music. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways, like going to like maybe your music, I'm like older.
Yeah.
I don't like too much, like too much. No, it has to have like a story.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
All right. Well, Jesse Renteria, hey, thank you very much for coming on our show and sharing all the knowledge and all the depth of what you did. And I hope that our audience enjoyed a lot of what this man had to offer today.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It was actually a very good conversation. I was nervous at the beginning, of course, but then it went pretty good. Well, yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, it did.
It did really well.
Yeah, we'll know by
thank you.
We'll know by our viewers. I mean, so if you share with any organizations you're a part of or friends and family, that'll also help, Eavesdrop podcasts.
Share the word, spread the word.
All right, audience, this was our show. You guys have a great night. God bless. Tuning out, Eavesdrop podcast.
Peace.